And action. Okay guys, so we're here looking at the car. Danny is just doing his thing. I'm trying to leave him alone so he can go around it and get a good gauge. But Danny, what are the vibes you're getting so far?
Yeah, really good, John. Like, obviously the first thing I check on these 996s, which is really common, is water leaks inside. But because this car's a non-sunroof car, cuts the odds of that down massively, but you can still get them from blocked drains. But it's bone dry inside.
It is, yeah.
It's in really good condition as well, really good condition, you know. Considering the car's done nearly 100,000 miles, I'd say that interior looks like it's done 50,000 miles, so that's a real big winner.
This is the heavy wear section of the car, and that's all intact. Yes, there's a bit of bolster wear.
Steering wheel condition.
I know, yeah.
The gear knob, I know it's been
door
replaced
cards
with a carbon one. Yes.
Gouged out here, but they're pretty good.
Really good, really good.
Yeah.
And then general first impressions of the bodywork. It's raining.
It's raining.
It never helps when you're looking at a car in the rain because you can't see the
but
paint.
we know from looking at the edges.
Yeah, we know that if it has been painted, which it would have
painted.
done, it's been done well because they've masked it well, taken the seals
out.
It's
hard to say in the wet.
Yeah, it's very hard. The wet does kill it.
That's been painted. That's been painted. All of this side's been painted.
We know the front's been painted as well.
I think the car's had a full respray at some point.
Now, well, that's nice to see. The engine is all stock original, dirty and dry. So that it's not trying to hide anything. So we can see there's some old oil leaks here. We've got some residue here from the cap that may want replacing or may have actually been replaced. I mean, there you go, that's an O2 cap, so it's original, that needs replacing. So put a new cap on there, will stop any of this. But you can see it's not really been got at, it's never blown in any engine oil anywhere, it's never sprayed water in the back, it's very dry, very nice, and all original dust. Yep. That dust is 20 years old.
You know, it's exhaust, the engine mounts probably need doing.
It's a genuine aero spoiler as well, that's the logo they should have, made in France. We know it's a genuine body kit on the car. Yeah. Because we know the front bumper's plastic.
Is it XAA?
It's not an XAA car.
It doesn't really matter too much.
No.
It's an original aero kit that probably is fitted by Porsche.
So I've just been for a drive in the car and I can feel there's a rattle on the front end. So I'm going to jack the car up now, get underneath the car and have a look at all the lower arms, wishbones. Hence why I got the screwdriver for prizing at rubber bushes. Yeah.
That's just to nick it.
That's hot wire it. Yeah. I don't think you can do that with these sort of cars, John.
No.
So we get it up as high as possible because we're on a gravel drive, which is never much fun.
Such a shame that it's
raining. But luckily we're on a 3-ton trolley jack, so I've got a bit of faith in this trolley jack to climb underneath here.
Paintwork, even though it's impossible to tell, you know, what it's like from a swirly perspective, the paintwork that's been done on this car looks like it's been done to a reasonable standard. Yes, unfortunately, where this has been repainted, there's a couple of bubbles in it. I'm not sure, you know, these are difficult to paint. We were talking about this. But generally, the paint on this is better than your average 996. You be careful under there, Danny.
Yeah, I've got a lot of faith in that jack.
You're going to need to. Assume it's going to fall, mate.
Right, the top mounts are perished. They are definitely original.
Is that what's causing it?
I think that's half the problem because they're original, they've never been done.
Yeah. What's those? You could get a good view of the brake discs there. How worn are those discs?
They're pretty good, to be honest. On the outsides always look great. The inside is a bit pitted.
They're going to need doing soon. You can't see them.
I would say that they haven't got a lot of life on them, but on the test drive they were fine.
Are they running? Are those the same as my ones? They are. Oh no, they're running
anti-roll bar bushes.
Oh no, they're not. No, these aren't the best tyres.
It's MO30.
I quite like Falcon.
It's got MO30 suspension and roll bar.
Has it?
Yeah. Drop links don't look too bad, but I would be tempted to change them anyway because they are old. The wishbone arms are good. Steering fork. The coffin arms have got quite a bit of play. Yeah, that coffin arm shot. Lower coffin arms is gone. So it wants arms. There's no point in doing one without t'other.
On these, I need to be careful. Actually, don't open any doors. Don't do anything to the car while he's underneath it. When there's a jack involved, so I'm just going to stay back.
They've got a lot of movement in them.
We're going to check because you get corrosion on those brake lines in the up and overs, and I think they have this side down there. So we'll have a look at those. Definitely both those exhausts are sitting low, but I think the owner's already said the top mounts probably need doing, which most of them do, so it's not the end of the world. But we've just got to compile a list really of everything that needs doing. and most of the time with these cars, I think the cosmetics on this car, just from what I've seen so far, we're going to be here for another hour or so, but the cosmetics I think are good. Like the fundamentals are good. Like sometimes the interiors they smell mouldy, they're worn, they're dusty and dirty, whereas this is so fresh on the inside. And it looks like it's really been looked after, and the paintwork has been done. What's probably not been done is just the mechanicals. Even though the fundamental drive is good, it's just keeping up with these cars, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's the age of everything underneath there. It's 24 years old, so everything under there has done 24 years and 100,000 miles of work.
And it's all the rubber components.
Yeah, and
it's
just deterioration.
And they're all under pressure and under weight, constant weight.
It's what I call, like most of them, they need a suspension overhaul now.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're going to put coilovers on it, fine, that recovers after things because they come with their own top mounts.
Yeah.
It's
well, a lot of people go that way, isn't it?
Yeah, because it comes as a complete kit.
And it's cheaper than going Porsche as well.
Yeah, rather than doing separate shops, getting
so if
the right
you know you're going to do that, that's good. It's also another downside that it's not on original Sport Classic or Sport Design or even Turbo Twist.
These are 993 17s, so they won't appeal to many people.
No, I would want to go on Sport Classics.
18s on there, yeah.
Or Designs, actually. Sport Designs would be lovely. Either of those is fine. So yeah, it's just
get it up nice and high.
It's so nice, the interior, the Alcantara headlining. There's good vibes about this car, but obviously we have to sort of, at the moment, we just, you know, when I say good vibes, put it this way, from what I've seen so far, and I wouldn't be checking it like Dan, as thoroughly as Dan, but from what I've seen, I would buy it. Like, it would just come down to the price for me, because I think, like Dan said, whenever you buy a 24, 25-year-old car, no matter what really, unless it's like a 30 grand Minter where you got like 5 grand of receipt in the last 12 months for all of the things we're picking up. You know, normally if it's not like that, then normally you've got to chuck 5 grand at these cars to get them driving good. And it's usually the suspension, isn't it? It's usually can be like brake discs, tyres a lot of time, but quite often or not, it's the work underneath that gets neglected.
I said it was firm on the back, didn't I? It's got polybushed rear anti-roll bar, rear arms.
Oh, that's good.
So the rear arms have been done and they've been polybushed.
It drives for a stock, for a non-coilovered car, it drives quite tight and the steering feels really good, like really responsive, and there's not that vagueness in there with what you see with some of them. So yeah, it just probably needs like a couple of grand spent on the underneath. Is it due servicing and stuff?
Yeah,
Dan?
it's due a service and an MOT soon.
Right.
All the brake pipes have been coated, so they've been protected.
Can you see the up and over one?
Yeah, and it's been coated and protected, which is really nice. It looks in good condition.
I wonder the last time the engine was out. Has it got all its history?
Yeah, we'll have a look through that now.
Okay, so we've got to go through the paperwork as well. Yeah.
But it's all pretty good under there.
Yeah, little thing. I always look at the door edges as well. I always look down the car to see if it's all straight, and it is. Usually these are mangled, like on all of them, even my red one, these can be mangled. There is a little tiny one there, like a tiny one, but the rest of it feels good. That's, you wouldn't even bother touching that up, but you could just put a bit of touch up in that, let it settle down, then just flatten it back and buff it up carefully. You can end up stripping what's there off as well. But and the same with this. It really bugs me because if these are smashed up, these edges, they're not as easy to fix properly as you think. And this one, okay, there's some little tiny scuffs on it, but generally, you know, that one doesn't even need touching. If they're really bad and they're all gouged out and all the clear coat's cracked on the side and stuff, you can't just sort of like fix that easily. You're looking at, you know, you're looking at respraying, and then when you start figuring it out, it's easier to respray the entire after car. And then a lot of times when you start going down that route and you look at the rest of them, before you know it, you're quickly looking at respraying the whole lot. Whereas this car, you definitely do not want to be or need to be respraying it, which is really important. If you're lucky, you might even be able to just pop that and it will settle down a little bit, possibly.
All very
if you're
straight
lucky.
underneath.
Just get a little pin in there and pop it down.
Very, very solid. No signs
Because it'd be a
of
shame
rust.
if you had to repaint.
Front
But that's all. This is all the
arms
stuff that
need
we've got to
doing. The
pick
lower
up on.
coffin arms need doing. Top mounts look shot. Bottom of the radiator rads are a little bit crusty, but they always are on these cars. Inside of the brakes don't look too bad. Generally speaking, under here is really good. By the time you've done the suspension, the arms, drop links, top mounts, I think you get the front of this car sorted very well, very easily. No rust on the chassis points at all. It's not even ground out on the bottom like most of them are. Very impressive.
Remember, you're mic'd up.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Well, I was just saying, I'm doing my video diary for my knowledge of what I've seen and what I haven't seen, but also to send to the client so I can show him what I've seen and what I haven't seen.
Yeah. So I'm going to cut the video here, and then we'll go to a final conclusions from Danny once we finish going over the whole thing and what his verdict is. But from what I've seen so far, what does it look like underneath there, Dan?
It's pretty good.
Not crusty?
No, not really. No, just on the components, not on the chassis.
Yeah, because they're usually quite crusty underneath.
Yeah,
aren't
no,
they?
it's not got none of that. A little bit on the inner seals, but minimal, what you'd expect where the mud traps on the aeros. But generally speaking, it's components that can be unbolted, thrown away, and new ones put on.
Yeah.
So other than that, it's really good.
So Danny's going to carry on going around this car for a little while longer yet. It's drying out as well a little bit, but it's still wet. We might, if it dries even more, we might be able to look at the paint. Glass looks good on the front, interior generally very good. So we'll be back in a second, guys.
Really ready to go.
Right. Okay, Dan, what's your verdict on this car? Should your client, who we might be meeting tomorrow,
Yeah.
should he go ahead and buy this car?
Yes, he should. It was a really good car, I'd probably score the car like, you know how we do the little scoring thing, John?
Yeah.
That car was a good 8.5 now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's perfect, it needs things doing.
Yeah.
The rear engine mounts we noticed straight away were hanging low because you can tell by the exhaust tips. So they're going to need doing, but they weren't urgent.
Where's a bit of card?
You got a card here with your little list of things that.
Oh, well, never mind. We've just been speaking to the guy that's going to buy it.
Yeah, the suspension at the front is knocky on the driver's side front, and that is because there's play in the coffin arm, and the top mounts look original. It's had new front suspension, but they didn't change the top mounts, which is pretty mad, but that needs addressing.
Yeah, from my point of view, like it's pouring with rain, but it's had a full respray, that car.
Yes.
Front bumpers off colour, which we knew about. You know, door handle has scraped through it, which is a separate little piece down to the plastic, which would need correcting, you know, painting. But you could take it off the car whenever you get the paint done. Just give them that at the same time. There's a bubble on the rear
deck lid.
rear, yeah,
on the tacho.
That's it. Which you might be able to get away with just popping, because it's not an old bubble, it's a new bubble.
Worst case, it's only the blade that needs painting.
Yeah,
you
you
can just
could.
unbolt the blade and just respray the blade.
Yeah, I think I probably would.
Easy colour to match. Yeah, I probably would just paint it.
Apart from that, paint is good. It has had a good respray, but it looks like a reasonably good quality respray, and they all need a respray. So that's kind of taken care of. So you wouldn't not buy it because of the paint. And the paint looked like a decent 7 out of 10. We can't see, grey day, pouring with rain, can't see if it's swirly. That's the only thing. Didn't look chipped up.
No.
Interior, really generally fantastic.
Yes.
One problem with the seat adjust after Boxster seats, isn't it? Sports seats.
It's had hardbacks put in there, but from a Boxster, not from a 911.
Not a problem. We're just going past it. Where we bought it from.
We've been going 10 minutes in the wrong way. Chatting.
So back in lovely Marlow. This is beautiful.
In 1,000 feet at the roundabout, take the first exit onto Marlow Road, Spittle Street.
Yeah. Interior was a real strong point of the car. It didn't smell musky like some of them do.
Typical non-sunroof car, no water leaks.
No water, lovely Alcantara.
Yeah, no
the
water
dashboard was like shining like a brand new dashboard. No thumb marks, scratches in it. You know, really nice. Door cards, no thumb marks around the handles of the door cards. Even for a 100,000 mile car, it was more like a 50,000 mile car in there.
It just didn't look the
lovely.
miles, did it? It looked half the miles.
Minimal bolster wear on those seats.
Yeah.
Problem with the seat adjust, which could be a wiring problem. We don't know, but just report the problem.
In 150 yards
Aftermarket floor
take the
mats.
second exit
Okay,
onto
120
Chapel
quid to get
Street,
new seats, no problem. Interior, lovely. No chips on the front glass screen that we could see all around, so the glass in all condition. Every function inside, all of the buttons, the aircon, indicators, light adjusts, windscreen wipers, front, rear, central locking, all of that works. No errors on the dashboard.
No warning lights.
No warning lights. Good paperwork. Full service history.
Full service history.
Been looked after. Drive. Now, Danny, you drove it. What do you think on the drive?
Drove really well. I mean, it was a car that literally, you know, sometimes you're really nervous with new cars because you don't know the car, you don't know what's broken. I mean, I've driven a lot of these cars, and you know, we drove out one way, you know, carefully and slowly. But by the time the temperature was up, I was giving it quite beansy on the way back because I felt so much confidence in the car. It drove that good that I felt like I could just jump in that and go around a track. It was really good.
Yeah, the ones we've had a look at recently, they haven't driven as well as that.
They've driven awfully, and then we make them drive.
What happens with them is
Turn left onto Wickham Road.
will you shut up? The suspension gets worn on, and then a lot of times you can end up doing things for cheap on the suspension and like ruining the way the car drives. The suspension needs to be sorted. You know, good. And if you get that right and get it geoed properly, and all of that suspension components are fresh, not all worn out, then you've got a good car. But that drove like a Porsche should drive. Yes, obviously some rattles that, you know, you've been through what you think is causing those, and some other things that do need doing on the suspension, and that's been factored in. But overall, we thought this was a good car.
Do you know what's shocking, John, is how people will, because the car's had a lot of owners. It's a 15-owner car, which would immediately put a lot of people off. But you can go and see a car that's 4 owners, right? And I'm telling you, it won't be as good as that car.
No.
That
sometimes
car you just got to go and see these things.
High owners like that can be a reason for concern. And usually when they do have high owners like that, they've been passed around for a reason. But we can't see why this has been passed around.
Take the first exit
No
and stay
rust
on Wickham
underneath
Road.
it either. All the chassis points good. All the arches, even the arches, obviously it's been painted, so they could have been done. But it's not like it's had crash damage and been repaired or anything like that.
And it hasn't been played around with.
Anything like that.
The aftermarket stereo has been done really nice, like in NTC.
Really nicely.
So it's just a number, the 15, effectively. It's just a number. It's something that alerted us to something that could be a problem, but we can't see any evidence of a problem. It's also important, well, the seller's a lovely bloke as well. You know, he's on the Aero Group, really nice guy, you know, very down to earth, relaxed. And also, Danny, you're not the buyer, you're just advising your client, who we're going to meet tomorrow, should he proceed? And the answer is yes, but don't expect a trouble-free thing, you know, and he doesn't, does he?
I think we've covered the things he needs to do immediately to the car, and then what I would do roughly over the next year or two. But you know, we can only I mean, I'd buy that car.
So
You'd buy that car.
So would I.
And we've bought loads of these cars, and we know these cars inside out. So it's a good sign, isn't it? If you've got a guy like me who's a 996 purist, and I know everything about them, and I love them, and I've driven loads of them. If I say I would buy that car, then that's the end of the answer, isn't it? Because I would put my money into that car.
And it's a similar price to what I pay for mine. And it's better than my red one. Mine's a different sort of car. Mine's sort of modified on the O-limbs, which is great, and more racy with the danced exhaust. So mine was good for the money, but this is better than mine for the money. So I think I would just buy it. If I was in the market for one, I'd have just bought that. I like it.
Definitely.
I like that type of black. What's it, carbon? What's it called?
That was basalt.
Basalt. So it's got
black.
a goldness to the
got
black.
Real
And I love that
to it.
terracotta interior because it just makes it a bit different.
It just, I think, you know, I'd put Sport Designs on it or something like that. I would. It's running on 993 17s, which are very comfortable and planted. But they just don't.
It has
look
to
that
come off
nice.
those alloys. We mentioned that. We've been through all that as well, haven't we? So I think you've done your job there. And I think the owners or the seller and the buyer, I think, are going to come to a deal. And
they're talking now as we speak, John.
Yeah, and then we'll find out tomorrow. So that's it for now, guys, and we'll give you the results of whether or not it gets bought or sold. And
Fingers
if we can meet the owner, we'll let you know.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Bill and Ted. Back in sunny Sussex, and we've got the car back here now at Bognor, and this is Anthony, who is the new owner of the lovely terracotta interior 996. Anthony, what a great car, eh?
Yeah, Really pleased with it, really pleased.
Yeah.
Just drove it from Maidenhead here.
Yeah.
And loved every minute of it, great.
Are you glad you're in the club?
I am, yeah.
You're in the Pinky's Taco Club now.
Yeah, I'll be getting me...
You're fully aeroed up.
Aeroed
Get
up.
yourself a
Got the
t-shirt. We've
stickers.
got the stickers. He's got the stickers. He's got the car. You just need the t-shirt. So, what is it you're going to do to it? Obviously, you're going to lose these horrible wheels, aren't you?
Yeah, that's first on the agenda.
They're going.
be
We're not
honest,
having those.
yeah,
Don't look at them. We're getting
severely
rid of
letting
them.
the car down. Wheels, coilovers, bits and bobs, really good detail, and then I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me show you in the man cave then.
Yep.
Take you in there because I might have a few of those bits kicking about. After you, sir. Oh. Right. Wheels, Sport Designs.
Yeah, they'll do. They'll work very nice.
Look at that, on the shelf, ready to go. Silver, boring silver, but I reckon we can get a nice colour on them for you. What do you reckon?
Yeah,
Bit of
lovely.
metallic bronze on there.
Yeah.
Diamond cut lips, black barrels. That's them sorted, isn't
That's
it?
that sorted, yeah.
Sold. That's them, right, next.
Deal one.
Intake pipe, bypass pipe, resonator delete.
Why not?
When in Rome, add that to the tally. Till it up, John. Carbon fibre spoiler.
You can't say no, I can't.
Add it to the till, yeah, we'll get that gone as well. What else can we sell him, John? Powerflex bushes, sir?
Stick them on the list.
Add it on, yeah. Right, what else have we got?
Matchbox toy.
Matchbox toy, fan belt.
Yeah.
Is it belt driven?
No.
Do we need a belt? I think the belt's all right on it, actually. Yeah, no, so welcome to the club, mate. Honestly, these bits, when you put these bits on that car, it's going to make
Oh, yeah,
it a whole
definitely,
different
yeah.
car.
I mean, you can see potential straight away. It's just,
Yeah.
for me, them wheels are just killing it.
And lower it as well. We'll get the
Yeah,
coilovers on there, put
Yeah.
the better wheels on there, because their
Yeah.
17s are too small on there.
Yeah.
Put a bit of contrast, add your style, your colour,
Yeah.
and just make it your own car.
Yeah.
Arctic back them seats as well.
I'll
Bing,
just-
bing. And yeah, that's it. So if you want a 996 Aero, Dan the Aero man.
Sorted me out.
Dan's Timeless Classics, like and subscribe, as well as John, obviously, from Forensic Detailing. And follow the progress of this car and see where it goes.
Cheers, guys.